G'day tubers, how are we people? Hope you are all well and not suffering from the China virus. Thank you to my subscribers and my viewers and anyone else who contributes anything at all to these videos. This was something I just started about a month or so ago. I've had it for about 12 months. Little JAP Type 3 stationary engine. I'm not going to go on and on and on about it, but yeah, let's hook in, get it cleaned up. It's not going to be a full restoration. It's just going to be a clean-up. I'm not replacing bearings and rings and, balancing and blueprinting and the whole damn lot. It's just a clean-up and just something to play with. G'day tubers, how are we? Well, we're just about to start on our next project. This is the last of the engines I've got. She's a JAP. If you look there, a model -3. I guess that's what it is. Haven't seen any serial numbers or anything yet. It is a goer. There's all the, there's a nice brass linkage on the governor and all of that. No exhaust, we'll have to make up a bit of an exhaust. I've got the muffler, got to make the flange and all. Actually, I've got the flange too. It's not the original air cleaner, that says Cooper. So that's not the original. Yeah, looks pretty scummy anyway. We'll come up with something for that. Yeah, it is a runner. I put a new plug in it a while ago to get it going, but yeah, it needs a rebuild, so we'll give her a nice clean up. It's probably going to be orange and with black highlights, the same as the other JAP. Yeah, let's hook right in. No surprises so far, tubers. Did notice one little thing just on the top of this cowling. Don't know, that says another AJH. I think it says 59 and then under it is 1986. 19861. So looks like it might be a 1959 model, if there's any accuracy to those AJH markings. I've had them on BSAs and on JAP, so I don't know. Took the little pulley off for the pull start. Got this bloody great nut, so I've got to get out the big gear for this one, the 3/4 drive stuff, see if we can undo that. So we'll muck about and see what happens. Just got the flywheel off, guys, and inside, stuck to the magnet, I found this nut and this washer, which appear to come off the points there. So once again, yeah, I don't know, but the nut is actually worn, like it's been spinning round in there. So it might have been off for a little while, but yeah, it was a runner. So yeah, strange one, that. Just taken off the breaker plate, guys. Notice the elongated holes in there and the position that the plate is sitting. I'll try and retime it that way, but yeah, that will advance or retard your timing, so just make note of these things. Bit of soldering work coming up here, guys. I just noticed this fuel line is broken loose from the banjo fitting there, so we'll have to fix that. Pulley come off pretty easy, guys, which is always a bonus. Yeah, just put the little puller on it and came off quite easy. Obviously, you've always got to remember to check and take out any grub screws, or else you'll be bloody making life pretty hard for yourself. Just about to take off the carby, guys, and I just noticed there's this little spring. Maybe the accelerator return spring, I don't know. Anyway, we'll have to look into that. Little valve cover come off pretty easy, guys. The screw in that governor in there is pretty tight, so may have to put a bit of heat or something on that. Just took the cylinder head off, guys, and looks quite good. A little bit carbony in there, but that's all right. I mean, she is, you know, probably a 60-year-old engine. No real movement in the piston.
The valves, of course, are going up and down, so that's all right. Yeah, she might be okay. I don't know if there's, turn that bottom down. There's absolutely no ridge there, so yeah, she might be all right, this one. We'll see. Yeah, it's coming up. Sump pans off, guys, or the bottom cover, whatever you want to call it. No real surprises. Pretty grotty. But yeah, no real surprises. Just trying to get the light right for you. The lock tabs are in place. Yeah, we'll know more as we pull it apart, but yeah, no real surprises, thank Christ. That's the pin for the camshaft, guys. Notice that little clip that actually goes in that way. So the clip is on the side of the that flange, what holds the crankshaft, or where the JAP is. Cam's out, guys. Pretty straightforward, but have a look at the governor works. It's actually got 5 balls, and as centrifugal force throws them out, pushes against that, pushes that out, pushes the lever. Interesting design. Pistons out, all that's pretty good. Block's basically apart. Got to pull the valves. What else? Ball looks all right. Bearing in there to come out. Yeah, that's just about it. Well, there we have it, guys. The just about perfect Type 3 or Dash 3 is apart. No real surprises, no real dramas. Everything looks, you know, pretty good. I haven't done a proper inspection yet, but crank looks all right, cam looks all right, ball looks pretty good. Valve seats and that aren't bad. No bits and pieces in the engine. Now we'll just start the laborious task of cleaning everything up, making it look nice. She's going to be same as my other JAP over here. This little one here that we did a little while ago, she's going to be orange with black highlights. I think it looks good. Just something, I know it's not original, but yeah, it looks good. So we'll clean all this up. What else? Yeah, nothing else really surprising. Yeah, once again, I don't think it's done a hell of a lot of work, or it's a sturdy sort of engine. Like it's, yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't appear to be too badly worn. So, I mean, anything can stop them, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can't get them going again, so they get thrown to the shit house. So, yeah, well, all good. We'll start the clean-up. Well, there's the breaker plate cleaned up, tubers, or stator plate, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I know, we've said all this before. Give the condenser a little bit of a polish, cleaned up all the points, fixed that nut that was bloody off and broken and what have you. Cleaned up the little felt, you know, for the oiler. That's about it, really. Just sort of tidied up the back, straightened that little plate out that was all dented. Put a few new rubber grommets in it and a new end on the plug lead, and that's it. She's ready to rock. Playing around with a few more bits, guys. That's the pull start pulley, just aluminium. Just chucked it in the lathe and that, just cleaned it up, made it look nice, you know, just sort of dressed it up. That's the nut of the flange that it actually bolts to, and that screws on the crank. Blacked it, you know, cleaned it up, chucked it in the lathe and turned it up a bit. And yeah, so that come up all right, just makes it a little bit nicer, you know. Bit more powder coating. It's just one of the little parts of the cowling. And likewise another part, and as you can see in there, hang on, can you make that out? 1959. And if you also look on this part, I can't quite make it out, 1959 as well. So, but I don't know who that AJH is. Those stamps are all over the bloody sheet metal work on this thing. So, oh, I had to panel beat that a little bit. You can see in the right light, it was pretty bloody dented up and bent. So, No panel beater, but it looks alright. It'll be alright, you know, you don't see it, so. But yeah, not too bad. Doing a bit of clean up on the block or the crankcase, guys, whatever you want to call it. Bore came up. I don't know how well you can see that. Bore came up beautifully. Just gave it a light hone. Hope you can see that. Yeah, it came up a treat. Yeah, it's not bad. Done the, once again, done the seats, they're not bad. Looking at the valves, or that's the intake, the seat's nice, you know. The exhaust is a little bit pitted, but it'll be okay. Here's an interesting one. That says, to my mind, EX. Well, I think it's EX yet. That goes in the intake. So work that one out, I don't know. And there's nothing written on the exhaust one. So look out, that'll do it good. Yeah, so I don't know, but no, the seats came up all right. So yeah, I've got pretty good hopes for this motor. It's, once again, it doesn't look like it's done a lot of work. I've cleaned up the ports a little bit. Not a polish or anything, just relieved them a little bit, you know. There was castings and bits of rough stuff and that in there, so I just cleaned it up, and this is basically going to get its final clean. Then I'm going to bake it in the oven for about an hour, because it will be powder coated. I want to sweat all the oil and all the old stuff out of it, because it does tend to stuff up the paintwork. So yeah, it's coming up all right so far. Still got plenty to go. So yeah, just been cleaning up the cowl a bit, and cylinder heads, I've cleaned it, but it's got to be blasted, as you can see. Yeah, so that's all right. Yeah, coming up nicely, guys. Cylinder head's cleaned up, guys. Just a quick sandblast. A little bit of a bloody, you know, emery paper sort of clean the gasket area up. And a quick go on the buff just to tidy it up, and I mean, it comes up looking all right. It's not polished, but you know, they look all right, and yeah, it should look good. Just screwing around with the petrol tank, guys, and took the tap out, and the old filter's pretty sad. And if I can do this one-handed, the whole thing comes out. That screw is supposed to fit into that slot and stop it. So there must be a little problem there. We better have a look. Well, that's the crankcase done, guys. Yeah, it came up all right. Just a powder coat in black. All cleaned up and all that. The seat's done, honed out, so on and so on and so on. The block's black. The pan will be aluminium. I cleaned up the side case there, guys. So that sort of sits in there. So that'll look pretty smart. Well, hopefully. And cleaned up the breather come rocker cover, or tappet cover, or valve cover, or whatever you want to call it on these bloody side valves. And that just sort of sits up in there like so. So that looks all right. Yeah, starting to look like an engine, slowly but surely. Well, that's the carby all cleaned up, tubers. Pretty straightforward, really. Put a couple of new copper washers under the fuel inlet there. New little fibre washer on that mixture screw. Pretty straightforward, really. There's nothing too major in these, you know. Just fiddling around with this fuel tap, tubers, and in there threads this little screw, and I just got that as a spare part. Focus, yep, that's better. And that screw retains, or runs in that slot, which retains the tap. That thread was completely flogged out, so what I've done is I've put a bit of silver solder in there, and I'm just going to drill it very carefully in the centre, and I'm hoping that if I get the size about right, that screw will thread itself and hold. Don't know if it'll work or not, but we're going to try. Tell you what, tubers, that worked an absolute treat. Came up all right. Well, tubers, that's all the parts for the JAP Model 3 cleaned up. It's, yeah, it hadn't come up too bad. Powder coated the tank, the cowling, I've got a new sticker for that. These internal engine components I usually clean as I put back in. Just that way they go in spotlessly clean, they're not covered in dust. Got some new gaskets for it and that. Got new seals, I had to butcher the old ones to get them out. Other than that, yeah, she's nearly ready to rock. I've just got to make up. That's the exhaust manifold off it, but the muffler and everything's missing. So I got hold of this, and that's just an aftermarket muffler, and we shall make that fit in there. We'll give it a coat of VHT, just, you know, flat black, and that'll be the little JAP ready to put back together. So yeah, come up all right, you know, it's getting the hang of the powder coating. Yeah, should be all right anyway. We'll see what happens.
Well, that's it for this one, tubers. Part 2 of this will be coming up very, very shortly. As you can see, I've got everything cleaned and ready to assemble. It's just a matter of filming it as we throw it back together, and we shall kick her in the guts, and it should run with a bit of luck. See you soon, guys.